Welcome, I'm Bill Wake. We're here working on the SortTables data viewer. We're worrying about renaming columns, and I think that's going to happen if we make AS or as queries. All right, I just kicked off a test run, but let's see. So WorkingTables and friends use the rename column for the as and queries. Yeah, that sounds about right. Give that a moment. Okay, good. All right, so I guess it was SQL select. Well, I guess I wish I'd written down the name of the class. Selection. Select statement, I think. Okay, so when you do a query, we have columns. See, we append the column name. Well, here's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, columns. I guess I need to understand these too. But when you reference a column, we do the SQL name unless it's an empty column and we just inactive contents is a constant, like a gray square. All right. So the deal is we're going to want these to be like as something. And I don't know if we can get it from working columns. No. So we changed something around. Let me go back. I don't want to do this too far. Let's see. So where's our working table? Nope. All right. Well, we have SQL columns. So these contain column selection, which has the original name and the rename name and the active state that we don't really care about. And this column list, I think, is used to generate stuff. Fake metadata, on-demand table tests. Oh, that's a test. Here's SQL columns. Working table, that's what I'm after. Okay, so when you create a working table, we pass in SQL columns. Now, I think this is really just the columns. All right. Okay, so hello, Tukes. Nice to see you. All right. Well, okay. So working table is the after we do all the query creation, database configuration stuff, we produce a working table. Well, we produce a working statement, I think it's called. Let's see, who creates working table? Working columns, working tables. Okay, maybe that's the one that gets produced. Somewhere in database selection, we produce this thing. Okay, yes. All right, so once you've made your query and we say, let's produce the working schema, which is a representation of all that configuration stuff we did. So one stage it goes through the tables, and the second stage it goes through the dictionary, the joins, and then pulls all that together. It gives it a database name, working tables, and working joins. Now the working tables are going to contain this SQL columns thing that we just briefly looked at. All right. So it has a bunch of column selections. Now, whether it needs these names, I'm not so clear on. I'm not sure what it's doing with them. All right, but let's get back to working. Working tables contains a working table. Okay, and that has these. Yeah. So if the table starts with 0 to 9, do renamed. Well, this is actually dead. We put this in because we used to call them numeric names. I'm going to take this out and make sure everything still works. So when we started a couple weeks ago, we had index coming in, and the index to the table was used to generate the unique table name. Now we've done the renames, and that should be okay. Am I doing a run? Okay, well, we'll do a run, and then we'll run tests. Okay, so let's hide these two, and we'll call this class 2. And open it. Okay. Yep. And then really test is what I wanted. Okay, so we've removed dead code from when tables had a unique number. Now we make sure the renamed names are unique. Okay, so I think what we're doing then is we're going to push forward from working tables to working table, and then let's see where that gets turned into a query. Well, I imagine it's, I don't know. I'm not sure what this thing gets used for. Working table has columns. Working table tests uses that. Oh, working tables does too. Okay. Uses all columns to map these. It's an array of working columns. Okay, but I guess we got to see who uses working tables. Because we create that on the Swift UI side. The whole work of database view is to produce a working tables. And then that's a test. Working schema. Oh, that's the parent. Okay. Yeah, there it is. So all data query generates a select statement. We get all the columns and the select statements. Okay, it's given all these columns. Let's see what type of this is. Is it our select column? Working column. Okay. Now working column, I don't know that. Cancel that. Let's let me push this over to the side. I think we'll start from here. Okay, so working schema is going to go ask the table for all its columns, and then it selects them from all the tables and then throws in the equal clauses for the joins. Okay. And equals query tables. I don't know what that one does. And then counts the groups and then orders them. Okay. And this one, that's the active data. Oh, okay. So different queries for different purposes. Yeah. Okay. Select rows. Gets the active data and limits it. All right, so yeah, working schema. Now this select statement gets all columns. I guess what I'm wondering is where these working columns come from. All right, there's all tables flat map. Okay, they're created from, well, where's the columns? All right, and so that comes from a working, no, it comes from a SQL columns. Wait, all columns comes from SQL columns. Okay, each column is a SQL selection, a column selection. I'm getting buried. All right, so the column selection, well, I guess it's that step between there then. Working table, we get working columns, but all we take is the description, which is just a string. Okay, so working column, it's hard to see how, basically we've thrown away information from SQL column to get working column. Working column, wow, is just that. Table, column name, and that. So I think what we want to do is, well, yeah, where's that description coming? Self $0. Oh, table $0 is the column. Let's take that again. Working column. So the column is SQL columns. When you ask for the contents, you get, oh, you just get column names. See, I'm beginning to believe that SQL column, working table and column selection and working column, I think want to be the same object. Or maybe, I don't know. And where's that description? $0. Well, the columns must be a SQL column, right? Column selection. Jeez. Okay. Equatable. I don't know where that description comes from. Working column. So $0, I think, let's say foo in, and this is foo, and now I can query foo's type. Sorry, what's the matter? Wait a minute. The columns map them. Okay. The columns, SQL columns. I assume that must give us these things. Oh, these are strings. Okay, so description is string, yeah. No, it's not even the working column. It's SQL columns holds the column selections, but when you ask it for an array subscripted version, which is what the sequence one, the iteration will do, it just goes to column names, which is derived from original name, which is a string. So those are strings. Now, I don't think that's necessarily the right choice at this point, especially. Oops. Let's try this again. Okay, so SQL columns uses the subscript. These check it. And this, well, I guess it doesn't tell us the real usages. Okay, working table. Right. So well, what I want to do is give it the original name and the renamed name, right, in working column. So I would rather this thing return me the SQL column, and then I can pull out those pieces. Instead, it's just returned the name. All right. And I don't know who else. Well, let's see if we can figure that out. Who else uses it? If I take this out, I should see some complaints. Sure. Okay. That appears to be the only use. All right. Let's see. I guess this to me is probably a refactoring at this point. If I return SQL column, and this is just columns, subindex, okay. Cannot find SQL column. Oh, column selection. I'm going to get rid of that word one of these days. We'll figure out a better word. And that goes to working table. Now he's got a column selection, okay, which has original name. The columns. Oh, okay. That comes from okay, it's iterating over them again. So $0 dot original name. Now, okay. This is an internal type. I guess column selection. Let's make that public. I built. For this, I expect this to be the same. Oh, SQL database. We're going to put a bunch of original names in here probably. Because that is enough to help us verify these things. Okay. Still missed one. Columns. Oh, top zero, sub zero. And then, yeah, fair enough. I think it's still long. Okay. All right. So now SQL columns is doing that. Does anybody ask for column names? Well, column names.count is certainly the same as columns.count because they're derived from it. Okay, so I think we just got rid of this. Which makes sense. I guess in effect we pushed out the original name to the callers. Okay. Now, I don't know. I feel like I'm not getting the most. It feels like there should be an easier way to be a collection. All right. Well, SQL comes. Yeah, I'm even wondering if I need that though. Let's see. So let me check this. So we remove column names from SQL columns. And yeah, I'm wondering if we need the as string. I forgot we had these headers. Let's see. Whoops. That was in table. Working table. Yeah, I think these are the strings that are on the top of the columns. So I don't even think the query necessarily has to care. Let's try that. I think we'll do it as a little experiment first, but let's take the renamed name and SQL column selection. Let's make this plus exclamation points. Okay, so more of an experiment. We'll peel this back in a moment, but I feel like the column selection ends up with the renamed name. We're going to make that come from the editing, but I think if we're putting that in the headers on WorkingTable, then we're just doing it as at the UI level without necessarily changing the query. Original name as renamed name from the description. Yeah, so I don't even think we need that because we're building the header outside. All right, let's see how that goes. Okay, so everybody that comes through is going to be the column name with exclamation points if this works the way I want it to. Okay, so class 2, 3 columns, just open, and we want 3 columns with bang bang on each one. And here's that first scary 10-second run. Okay. Oh, this is very promising. All right. So the header doesn't have to be part of the SQL stuff. I think that's kind of good. Yeah. Because I mean, I don't know, the SQL. I'd rather it stayed more simple if it can. All right. So should rename this because it's just not going to be done that way. All right, now let's take that back. I think it's these two, right? Okay, so somebody checks this function, I'm sure. Working table tests. That seems good. Okay. No, I don't see those columns. Oh, here's columns. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So these just take those column strings and wrap them into SQL columns. I think we can probably do it manually. Oh, column selections. Yeah, I'm going to have to. There is no SQL column. I'm going to rename this thing. Okay, so this is SQL column from here on out. Well, no, it's not a SQL column, is it? It's almost like a virtual column. It's kind of got smarts a little bit that we need. Query column. Let's try that. I don't know. We'll do better eventually. Now working table. I think we can make a query columns don't do original names now. Oh, they default to that. Yeah. So I think what we want mutating func rename new name. We'll not do it for a minute here, but I think we want to rename these two columns in our tests to make sure. Okay. So, well, that whole thing is being done. Okay. Query column. Right. Okay, so we have. No, we don't have it. We have working table. Does he know? He knows SQL columns. Okay, we can do that. Let's fix the test. So if we take working, well, maybe this will still work. Actually, let's make a separate test for a rename. Okay, so this is test rename. All right, and now we come in and we say working table dot columns sub 1 dot rename. Renamed. Okay, and so the header working column. Oh, it's working columns. Oh goodness. And they do happen earlier. All right. Well, maybe we just have to not use this. Okay. So that okay. Columns. Well, no, we want to pull this out. Okay. So this thing is going to be, well, I'll do that. I don't think I reference columns again, right? Because it wasn't before. Okay, so I'm going to take column 0, column 1. I'm going to do a rename on column 1. SQL column sub 1 dot, well, no, is that going to be it? SQL columns dot. He's got to read. Well, let's say it has a rename index 1 to renamed. Okay, that function does not exist. All right, and then table name header call 0, but column 1 should be renamed. Okay, so now SQL columns needs a rename index of int new name of string. Okay, I believe that will fail. Good. I'm not sure what these are. Oh, we'll fix that. We'll fix that. That's more of an issue. Okay. So hopefully we got call 1 back for that second one. Yeah. Okay. And I think we'll flip our assertion. Okay, we assert we get the original table name back. We get a column count of 2, and the 2 headers are, one of them is renamed. All right, and so I think this rename is not doing anything yet. Okay, so what he should do is columns sub I. rename with new name. Okay, and then this should okay. Columns as a let. Okay. I think we're still okay. Funny. It now complains that it's not, it doesn't need to be a let. Oh, this one. Okay. Yeah, that's fair enough. Oh, but it still failed. Oh, okay, good. Because we don't do it, we don't do the header thing yet. That's in WorkingTable. Header dot renamed name. Yeah, it's a little deep in that it's testing kind of 3 layers of objects to do its thing, and we could test them individually, but I think that's okay. Okay, so rename header in WorkingTable from the one in what do we call it, query column. Okay, so where is it? Query column. Okay, doesn't have that bang bang stuff in it now, so we can't really test it visually yet. But I think what that showed us doing was taking an arbitrary column set of columns that included renames, and now they get set in the WorkingTable. So with WorkingTable doing the rename, that header shows up on the top of the column. That's what those headers are. And that should be good. All right. Now, is somebody referencing this? WorkingTable, the tests, and WorkingTables. As headers. Is that going to be enough? All tables. As headers gets column apps rename name. Okay. Yeah. All right. I think we're in good shape. So what we did is we kind of have been working from the end. So we put together a UI that provides editing boxes for all those column names, and then we've taken it so that whatever comes out of the database config is has those renamed names and uses them in building the WorkingTable object, which is the sort of ends up being the visual table on the screen. It's got its headers, it's got its body filled in by the column results from the database. Or it also does spreadsheets and whatever. So, but this WorkingTable and Friends use the rename table. I think it's really in the header or as the header. name as the header. Okay, I feel like that's really what's going on. And whatever I said here, make as queries. This is rather than using as in SQL queries. Okay, now we want to do the middle, which is connect from the edited field into our SQL column structure, or what do we call it now? Query column. Okay. And that we're going to start from database view. So I'm going to clean this out again. Close the tabs. Oops. Okay, that works. Let's open database view. All right, and we know it's really, joins are going to be a problem, but it's all tables view, and we know it's one table view. Okay, so what's this? Add table. Oh, duplicate. Let's fix that. I think I want those message names to sound like what they are. Whoops. We kind of changed the model there. Okay. All right. So there's the duplicate button. That's the table. We need one column view. We'll get there eventually. Let's see. No need to change query if we change the visual. Change the key also. Okay. Well, we may need to add an ID to be the key. I don't know yet, but that's a possibility. All right. So we got an active button, toggle text field database, renamed column. Okay. Now renamed column is just local state. We need to make it happen. And I'm not. Well, let's open one table view. I believe what we did there is on change of, yeah. So on change of this, then we're gonna update that ID. Okay, so we'll do something similar. Well, wait a minute. Table selection, not rename table. I guess it's only going to be the. Well, we'll see. On change of, this should be renamed column, and then this action equatable goes to void. I guess we're using the one that does nothing. Okay, so when you change this, so somehow we need to tell table selection But I think once again we've... Oh, sorry. Got you. And that's actually the one that counts. Can I not change the keys? Why can I not delete that? Contact database, add table. I want to delete this. How weird. I don't think I chose that word for French. No. Okay, now I'm puzzled. What do they call these? Something strings. Maybe it's... string catalog. Excuse me. And this minus sign seems to be grayed out, period. And it doesn't seem like... Oh, you have to select it. Huh. So this minus sign is not grayed out. This, it's grayed out. I don't know. I can delete that one. I can't delete that one. Maybe somebody's still using it. I don't know. Delete, delete. How weird is this? It's like it's some special word that nobody can delete. Huh. Okay. I have to add it to the French, but most of these don't have the French. Config database column selection. Yeah, there's no French for that. Can I select it here? No. Huh. Okay, I don't want to leave this because I have a feeling I won't remember it. I'm going to go in and edit that file manually. I guess I should just run as code. It's just too weird. I don't know if it's because I generated the XC strings from an existing thing and something about those just made it unhappy. Where did Xcode go now? Okay. Well, I can move this. I don't know what editor it's going to pick. Okay, there seems to be no extraction state manual. Well, I suspect I can just delete it. All right, let's close this and reopen it. Config database, add join, duplicate table. That's still not editable, but I'll let it go. All right, let's deal with that. Okay. Well, the big thing is we renamed error text from okay. Okay, now one column view. So somehow we have to get this renamed column text back into the column. Now we just have the table selection and the column name. We do have the original though. Okay, so we have binding to table selection. Let's change that. Table selection dot rename. I think we want to go column name to, oops, to renamed column. No, this doesn't exist. No value rename. Okay, so I don't know that we need that $sign in really, but let's get a rename in here. Okay, so I think that should make that happier, other than that $sign. Yeah. Has no dynamic member rename. Well, table selection's a binding. Insert $, but cannot call value of non-function type binding subject. Now here we did table selection dot rename table, database selection dot rename, where database selection is a binding. Oh, isn't this weird? We got one change of this rename table. Where's that rename table? Oh, that's the table. Okay, so we changed it in here. Maybe that's the difference. Table selection was holding this, and I'm trying to do it. Well, I'm still trying to do it up a level. I've got table selection dot renamed. Do database selection dot rename of ID to table selection. And just like before that, the binding, that shouldn't be needed. Referencing subscript dynamic member requires binding. Subscript dynamic member. Okay, this part is fine as far as building is concerned. All right. But table selection dot rename cannot call value of non-function type binding of set. Do I have to go to wrapped value? Not available. Requires wrapper binding of table selection. Oh. I thought this was the same. Table selection has no member rename. Okay. Rename column. It's still unacceptable. Missing argument. Oh, I don't want that name. I think that's pretty implicit. All right. And then I think that should build. And then really that's the same as table selection dot, because it implicitly unwraps. And I'm not great at knowing the difference. Difference between database selection and table selection. So we had that hierarchy. Database selection contains table selection, contains column selection. Well, query column now. So in the table view, we were changing database selections. Basically, that's the parent selection, the parent of this object. We're telling it, hey, there's a new rename for this table. And we did it directly on the table selection in our editing. So we had the single field and we edited it right there on that object. And so the rename just picks up the one from table selection. Yeah, I have the totally wrong name. So, but I think it's analogous that table selection is going to do a rename. I feel like this approach, well, if it works, it's simpler than what we did in one table for the table, and I suspect we can do that. It always kind of bugged me. Let me take a diversion. Let's take well, there's table selection. He's got information. He's got string to query column as the source of information about what columns there are, and then database selection has two things. So that's a little suspicious to me. He has table reference map and table selection. Table reference map is the UUIDs of the table selection object going to the table selection object. And you can derive this from that. Actually, you can go either way, I think, because you've got table selections in both cases. So I feel like we should be able to get rid of this. If we need the reference map, we should be able to get rid of this and just contain the map and look at all the values if you need all the table selections. All right, but let's see this work before I get too... Okay, so, well, let's just put a marker in here. I'm just going to print. And, oops, if I can type print. Okay, so kind of tying from the UI, if I've done things right, this does that naming. All right. And that doesn't guarantee everything works, but at least tells us the triggering behavior on the changes and all that stuff is okay. Which I think it's okay going in. I'm not sure if it's going to come out right, I guess. Okay, so if I take this, do this, and rename this. Let's call it X. Oh, notice it did it as it went, A and AX. So it's very sensitive to that. Okay, interesting. But that tells me at least we know changing this does change the state variable and we detect it and we have the opportunity to do a rename, whether we've got everything connected right on the way back so it can do it, that's to be determined. All right, but that gets us through the UI piece. Now I want to do some testing on table selection and just make sure we can do a rename. And for table selection, it's got string to query column. So we should be able to get the object that the key is the old name and the result is the new name. We should be able to change that. Okay, so let's get table selection tests. All right, and then I want to do a rename test. Well, I guess I should call it rename column. Feels funny. It's like I'm working at the wrong level, but okay, let's see what happens. So let's see, what do we need? We need to create a table selection, so we need some metadata. Now, this is enough. We're testing one column changing. Okay. And then selection dot rename column. The old name is C1. The new name is renamed. Oh, that's not a good enough test, is it? Let's see. We should be able to get columns. Do we get a particular column? Okay, active columns. There's only one column, so it should give us a query column. All right. Active columns dot first dot renamed name should be renamed. Okay, so if you take the selections, oh no. File. Oh, assert equal. Yeah, it seems funny. Why are you? Well, okay, yeah, usually we put the dot first. I didn't know it was a requirement. Okay, and this should fail. Do we check for column uniqueness? I don't think we do. If two columns, well, already we have two columns with the same name and it doesn't create a problem. So I don't think there's any reason to think it will create a problem. I'm willing to do a manual test on it, but I don't think it's going to be an issue. All right, and equal name, it came out renamed, okay, because rename column doesn't do anything right now. Okay, so table selection, rename. All right, so what we're going to do is look up columns dot query column. Where's rename? Okay, so columns sub old name dot, and then I think we'll give it a rename as well. Rename to new name. Optional type query column. Oh, okay. Yeah, just like that again. Yeah, that's a good point in the test. Okay. X columns. Actually, you can't. Let's see. Table selection. we don't have an index operator on this thing, but I'm willing to assert more about it. And I don't think I want to add the operator just for this test. Yeah, make sure the key is still the original. Yeah, that's a good point. Does query column have equatable? Yeah, we can do that. Active columns dot first should be oh no, I guess that won't work. Okay. All right, I'll make 2 assertions. Well, let's just pull this out. Okay. Good. Okay, so we make table selection dot rename work. Okay, so I believe we've hooked it end to end, and I hope it just works. And I think maybe this is create query. That might be the right name for it. Okay, so let's just teacher. Okay. And so we should get 1 column. The header should be teacher, and the stuff should be right. Okay. And let's do another one. Let's make these names the same. Whoops. Helps if I can spell. R-U-M-E-N-T. Oh, it's that darn keyboard stuff. I think core graphics. I mean, nothing I'm doing for core graphics, but I'm pretty sure it all comes back to this keyboard placement thing. All right, but let's try that again. Well, let's just do it here. Instrument. Instrument, we won't show these. We don't need these. So I should get all 3 columns instrument and not complaints about it. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, no complaints. Like you say, let's make sure these work. Did I? I wasn't watching. Okay, that did work a little slow again. Oddly slow. This thing is so touchy. Oh, it's thinking I'm reversing. Now. I'm going to put the time slot first. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Being very slow. Okay, does it? I don't know if the speed is a real problem in things or not. 57 lines should be pretty darn fast. Instrument first. Because I don't think the column name, I believe it's really just a display thing. And the contents, the column object is, it just has that display name attached, but it doesn't involve it in how it keeps track of things. It does everything by index. And because this scrambling is all, there's an object that basically manages the permutation of the columns. And, it starts out 0, 1, 2, and now we've made it 1, 2, 0, and then 2, 0, 1, or whatever, so it seems independent. I'm a little bugged with this. I mean, it looks like the dragging is timing out and stuff too, but that puts the name first. Yeah, it's doing it, but it's slow. And the renaming all seems okay, so that's at least good. I don't know if this is going to respond. Getting these gesture timed out. Now that's a little faster. This has always been a little touchy in the simulator, dragging the columns around. I think it's this component. I don't know if it's good or not. Yeah, good point. Okay. Well, now they show up as their original. Okay, let's hide these. That should be the equivalent. Very slow, but it's there. Now I got a gesture timed out. I don't know if that's indicative. It's the problem when it's slow. A nice theoretical problem, right? Is it just slow or is it an impossible problem? I'm pretty sure it's not an impossible problem. All right. see if I can do it again without the timeout. No. Okay, well, it doesn't seem any faster. Yeah, I don't think it's rename. And I don't know, it seems like sometimes when we start up, it seems really slow, and I thought it was maybe just startup, but maybe it's more to it. Okay, I mean, that says, like I say, it's not a rename, it's something else. Very, very odd, because you could read 57 rows out of a database, a local database at that, that's nothing. Okay. All right. Well, let's take this for what it is. Column rename connected end to end. Did I have anything left? No. Okay. Let's take this. Okay, so I don't know. There's complexity. Well, I guess I can push the message just to get that all consistent. So I'm very struck by the difference between these two. Where's database? Okay, so if you recall, we had to make the, we made this table reference map thing so that we could handle the renames and know what table it was. Oh, we haven't done joins yet, so maybe this is still an issue. Okay, let's take a look at that. Actually, I do think create query is a better name for this, so let's take a tiny detour here. Create database configuration. Okay, I'm going to call it create query. Configure database is maybe still okay. And then open database configuration, we're going to say open query. Okay, save that. I wonder if a build changes these. Oh, that's the comment. Okay. And the French one should change to create query. Okay. And yeah, that's a better name for sure. All right. So what? Well, maybe that's not necessary for the joins. All right, let me do my full-blown, this is the realistic query thing. Okay, so person, and I want instructor. Okay, and I don't want to see this or this or this, but I do want to say class FK, or registration class FK equals class.id and class.instructorID form key equals instructor.id. Okay, now if I say I'm going to call this instructor. I don't want it to be, well, if I called this instructor ID, but I don't think I need that. I mean, the join feels like a very database thing, and having the original fields feels okay to me. I think you're not likely. I mean, I think things like IDs and foreign keys are most likely not going to be visible anyway, and so you're never going to rename them. So I don't think in practice there will be any confusion. Yeah, rename column for presentation. It's a little weird that the rename table is actually involved in the joins, and it matters because got to know which person you're getting. All right, and then now I think. Okay, so we got instrument name, time slot, person name. Well, let's name this class. Okay. And I don't know, maybe this is session or time. Okay. That feels like what I want. No. That was zippy. Okay. Instrument instructor. So let's play with it. Instructor. Let's get them over here a little. Not bad. Instructor. Okay, and then I think let's do this. Okay, so I'm taking the student names out of it, and that should be more. Okay, yeah, that's nice. Okay, and this has 600 rows. Again, it's not a big deal in the world, but for my application, like this festival I help with, I think our most was 220 people. We might get 250, but I don't think the venue holds. I think that's a squeeze. I know they added more housing, but even if it's 300 and there's 4 classes, that's 1,200 things to manage. It's not, it's not a big deal. All right, and then let's just take the instrument one first. Who does any's, alls, any's? Okay, multiple fiddle ones. We don't really want to see the same name twice in a given section, so let's flip. Okay. So fiddle, 4 people are teaching fiddle, 3 guitars. Okay. And then if I flip this, I find out which instructors are multi-instrumentalists. Okay, so Mozart's good on bass and clavier, Vivaldi on guitar and dulcimer, and Chopin's a multi-talented guy. Probably not as well known for his banjo as you might think, but he's qualified. Okay. Okay, this is feeling good. Now let me do some class stuff. So I think for a schedule, the name, I don't care about the instructor. I think you want to know your class name and you want to know your time slot. Let's move this over. Okay. Now this is student. Oh, it's a little weird because it's a teacher. Let's get to the actual students. Do I have them in this view? Yeah. Well, I don't think I need this either. Now something seems off. I guess what seems off is like, why does this person have so many things listed? Let's take time out. Generate a class roster. So this seems to say like everybody is taking this class. That seems unlikely. All right. Let's take a break. And we'll be back in 3 or 4 minutes. And I don't know, we may look at this further. We may look at something else. We'll see. Welcome back. All right. Yeah, so I think I messed up the query. Let's try again. Okay, so I'll duplicate this. I need 3 joins. I need to make registration class equal class ID. And then the one I left out, I need to make registration person equal person ID. Oh, let me do the other one first. Registration, do class dot instructor equals instructor dot ID. Oh, I didn't add that table yet. Instructor equals instructor ID. Okay, and now here's a message. Unjoined tables result in a very large data set. Guess what we saw? A very large data set. All right. The reason is we've joined the classes to the instructors. So we got class and instructor matchup, but we didn't add the one for person. So I just took every person times whatever we had from this other stuff. And that's the cross product. Instructor. No, person ID. Okay, let's open that. So I don't know how big that file was. It was a lot bigger than we talked about. Now, something still seems funny. Okay, I didn't turn off fields. That's probably one problem. I didn't rename anything, so I can get confused there. Okay, this is looking better though. Let's get the student name over there. A little at a time. So that makes me wonder, like, maybe that warning should be given a little more prominence. Okay, so let's move this thing over. Excuse me. So now for each class, we tell the students that are in it. So it's kind of a roster of students attending this class. All right, now if I flip it, it's going to be for each student, what classes are they attending? So this is the form, you'd print out this section and send it to each student to tell them what class they're showing up for and what time. And if you'd rather have it sorted by time, you can do that. So at 9 o'clock, ornamentation, 11 o'clock, why the base, 13 this, and so on. So I think that's good, but I think it does make it clear to me that it's too easy to miss that joined message. And part of the reason was we were down here looking at the joins, and the red is not down here. Excuse me. Now, I guess it's a call. I mean, there are times where it might make sense to have combinations, the unjoined things. I don't know if I can get it from this data. Person. Well, if I did person by person, I guess I've got every combination of two people, including duplicates. Can I get anything valuable from that? Well, I guess if it's like how many pairs could we make? I suppose that's a possible way to answer that. Seems like the hard way to do it. I don't know. I guess I got to think if I'm going to find a realistic situation that needs a join. I mean, that doesn't want a cross product. I'm sorry, excuse me. Yeah, we could do something like that, like give an alert that says, "Hey, you're doing a cross product. You really want to," but I guess I would have to think of a valid case for it. I don't have one off the top of my head. I mean, it's legitimate SQL and it's a legitimate query. What if every person took every class? How much paper would we need or something? But I don't know. Can I block it? Gosh, if I blocked it, I think it'd be a long time before I got a phone call on that one. Now I'm curious. Let me replicate the query we did before. Actually, I don't even need the instrument one. We had something like this, and we had the instructor. I guess I will put it in. Let's make person teach. Okay, and do class.instructor equals teach.id. Okay, so that's the query we had the first time. I didn't do the renames, but I think we turned off a bunch of these. All right. And just open. Okay, so my question is how many, I don't know if I can tell from this. No, it doesn't adjust the size of the bar. All right, push it back over here. Let's just scroll down. It's a lot. What are we up to? Instruments, we're on base. Okay. There's a lot of rows. Because it's every instrument times every class name times every person, and those were 60 people or 60 classes. I don't know how many, well, 60 classes, I don't know, it was 250 people or something and 250 instructors. So 250 times 250 times 30 times 60, that's thousands and thousands of rows. Okay. So I think I want to turn it off. And I think another indication though is we did this message and we turned off the button. Whoops. Sorry. We did the message and we turned off the button, but I think maybe I should make the background red too. And I'm going to change that other thing into an error instead of a warning. Let's see. Warnings are probably down here. No. Oh, it's Francais. Warning unknown tables. Yeah. I think that's going to be an error. Can I change this? No. Okay. I'm going to make this one an error. Now, I don't know if I can do a rename. No. Okay. Let's see. I think I'm reloading that large set. Maybe even worse than before. Okay. So what we do with warnings now, well, let's open database view. All right, this, bring this down a little. 112 million. Okay, I guess that could take a long time. It was funny though. It seemed to roll along faster than our little 57 line set that we did that one time. So I don't know. All right. So where's our buttons? Okay, there's our buttons. Oh, did we not? Let's stop. I thought we had made it so the buttons would turn off if we had an error. Was that in our to-do still? Oh yeah, it is. Okay, so we did rename fields. Rename fields. No, we did rename column. Okay. This, now column's a better name with databases. Okay. Don't allow save or open if there's any warnings. Offer to save, mark soon. Right. That's still an annoying one too. Could it be something strange with single table queries? No, it was not a single table query. It was this situation. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, maybe that's possible. Well, now I'm curious about that one. Let's try that again. Do create a query. All right, we'll just take class. We'll name these name. Turn off these and open. Oh, this is the first one of a new run, but I don't know. We're going to have to we're going to have to do a little performance analysis, I think. I lost track of which column was first, so. All right. Don't allow save or open if there are any warnings. Okay. And then I'm not sure where, well, the buttons are here, right? Top level. And I think where's the message? Oh, bridge has errors. Okay. Let's make sure that message is not empty. Okay, good. All right. Well, we can certainly turn those off if there's an error. Okay. Dot. I don't know what it is. Active is active. Whoa. Control. We don't want hidden. Disabled false. Oh, yeah. Backwards. Gah. Disabled. And then it was something dot has errors. Bridge. Well, that doesn't go on cancel, but it goes on these two. Okay. No, I guess I lost track of what I was doing there. All right, so my buttons are disabled except for cancel, which makes sense. And, yep. Well, I don't know if cancel's working. All right, let's try that again. Oh, I don't think it does. I think it just did a query with everything. Okay. Let's try that again. This whole thing around the buttons and saving and all that is awkward. Okay, so we've got an error, unjoined tables. Comment these out. Buttons go open. Put it back. Okay. And then I think I think I could make something, maybe the background red or yeah, maybe the background. Okay, but I think this does that. Don't allow save or open if there's any warnings, and would take out this warning. And then the other warning we had was duplicate names. Okay, so yeah, I think that does the job. Make cross product say error, and then disable save and open, and just open buttons when there's a message. Okay. All right, I'm going to put off this performance one. Let's get this thing in good shape. Okay, now we'll delete that. There it goes away. Okay, so I think we had the error message. We have the buttons blocked. I mean, we could put the messages down here where they're always visible, but then you have even less stuff to do. Yeah, cancel. I think would open whatever it gave. I don't think cancel had any actual function yet, and so it probably did the cross product of all three tables, which is the worst case scenario. Okay, so this we did. All right, I think I want to make. Let's say visual signal, if any errors. Now, it would be lovely if I could tag these and make them red or something, but I don't think I'm going to. And the cross product is a combination of them, so it's really not. I don't know. It's not even. You wouldn't say one thing is causing it, you know. All right, so visual signal. So I'm thinking like change the background. Put some sort of error indicator here somewhere. Let's see if that background is easy to change. That's I think, is there background color? No. I think I can say just a color. Nope. Okay. Well, that didn't do what I wanted. That was not the right choice. Okay. I'll put a frame. Create a dedicated background view and put it behind the other views. And I don't know. More safe area on the color and then overlay the main content. Although I gotta say, it's surprising I'm not seeing this stuff. Background. Contain a relevant frame. Uses the relative size. Yeah. Maybe that would be the way to go. I could put it in that section, although then when you're trying to get rid of it, it's taking up space. That's annoying too. First, see if I can do this. Okay, apparently this is not going to just be trivial. That confuses that. Navigation title. Although I feel like maybe that belongs on the whole thing. Yeah, it's screwing it up. Okay, let's make sure we're back. Yeah, maybe. Did this rerun? Whatever I'm doing, I'm going to have to revert here because something's bizarre. Okay, my buttons are back. That's a good sign. Now that switching like that of configure database, that's expected. It's normal. I guess it's okay that it's here. It's not trying to get into the button area or in there. But I don't see any tent. Yeah. Oh, form is gray around white, huh? Oh. Interesting, but it's not helpful. Okay. I mean, the other thing I could see is like a little error triangle here, just as a kind of indicator that something's up. Let me try it. And I'll make it hidden. And I'm sure this has a name. Something like this. Is that what it's called? Exclamation mark dot triangle. Pretty far off there. Oh, how annoying. Okay, I'm not going to worry about it hidden. Well, let's just see this and see what we're like. Yeah, that'd be nice. No, you have to say something. It's, oh, image. Okay. Title 3. Yeah, can we scroll? Well, that didn't do anything for that. Okay. Sorry. Sorry. Well, the list kind of builds in a scroll view for you. I don't know if that. Okay, that's a little too big. But the red is okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm feeling like I'm on a better track here anyway. Yeah, let's see if we can get a good size. Where's title? Did I do just title? I think I did title 3 or something. And this sort of accessibility label. Yeah, I mean, that would be nice. Let's see how the title looks. That I can handle. Okay. Now, I don't know, is there, I mean, there's like little logos that, I mean, I could do circle.fill. Straw view reader. I mean, I can do a little pop up on it. Um, or I could, this is an H stack. I could put another thing in the stack. Where do that, maybe that section just does belong down there. Just permanently on the bottom if there's an error. Let's try that way. Okay, so where's that up here? form. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, we use scroll too for something. I can't remember which project now. Well, it's a little, it could use some padding, I guess. I don't know if it'll wrap. Okay, maybe it's just the padding I'm after. It's probably a bit much, but that's tolerable. Thought that looked a little weird, unbalanced. This gap is bigger than this one. All right, one more look here. Oh no, that's not enough. Okay. I'm hoping it will wrap. This size. Now I could wish for a little more contrast here. I don't know what will do that. Just because it's got white stuff connected to it, but maybe as soon as you touch it, it's kind of clear. Yeah, I think that's okay. You still have a little room to work. Now, another thing I was thinking, it might make sense to just start with the table names off, all the tables. And, or maybe, yeah, I don't know why the first one should be privileged. It's just kind of a random, alphabetical. Well, I think I like it better down there. I think you're right. It maybe just belonged down there. It is a pity having the message cuts down on your space, but I think maybe that's the way to do it. Hmm. It's like I want to put these in a group or something. Or maybe, yeah, maybe just a border. Is it like dot top? I think it's, yeah, Ray, this one. Yep. Edges. With one top. Well, just to see it working first. No? Oh, with the help of the extension. Oh, this is annoying. No, we want it on the. I guess I got to deal with the border stuff. What was the suggestion up here? With no height, one alignment top. That's no better. What determines that section? H stack. Okay, this is the form. Well, I mean, you could try this. There's a little white space there, but Oh, only. No, I could have sworn there was a way to just do this easily, but apparently it's not as easy. Well, let's try this. I'm running out of patience for this. Okay. Let's see. Alignment top. But it's showing up in the middle of the thing. I don't know if moving that would help. I don't want it to show any white space before it. I want it to be on the outside of the whole element. Pretty sure that's not going to do it. No. I'll let it go for now. It's not unbearable, but all right. Unfortunately, it didn't seem like there was any padding built in. Because at first the error message stretched all the way across to the far edges. I'll live with this. All right. Put error message at bottom. Okay. And yeah. All right. Well, thanks for joining today. We'll pick up there tomorrow. And that's 2 to 4:30 Eastern and 7 to 9:30 p.m. UTC. Thanks again. Bye-bye. Let's try this one.